All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another one of our monthly training sessions. Brian here with Relatable Nonprofit, joined by the one and only Julia Devine, and she is going to be running a training on how to find nonprofit clients who are ready to work with you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat. We would love to know who you are, where you're calling in from. We'll have a few questions and prompts throughout this session today. And of course, if you have questions along the way, I'm going to be monitoring the chat the whole time, and I'll be sure to bubble them up to Julia throughout the conversation. So thanks so much for joining us here today. Julia, welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Brian, I think I'm just going to need share access on that. Yep, there we go. And pull up my slides. So we've been working with nonprofits and nonprofit consultants for a long time, but this is the first time that I have ever done this particular presentation, but we know this is top of mind for a lot of you. So we're really excited to hopefully give you some great value today and help you walk away feeling really confident about how you are all going to build your own client portfolios and your businesses for the rest of this year and into 2026. So stay tuned. We have some really, really amazing information for you all. And I'm so excited to also give you a back end glimpse into our business as well. Just a quick agenda to set the tone for the call. We're going to start with talking you through our framework for finding clients, 3 simple rhythms that we have been using consistently for over 2 years to start conversations and land nonprofit clients that we want to work with, because that's important as well. We'll share a little bit about our consulting story, what we did to build a list of now over 5,000 nonprofit professionals, our email list, and also create consistent revenue streams for our business. Many of you probably know my partner a little bit better than me because she's all over LinkedIn. That's Catalina Parker. We've been in business together since 2022. So I'm really excited to give you guys a little sneak peek of our business as well. And then we will talk to you at the end about the number one thing that we did to scale our business from early on in the consulting journey to making over 300,000 a year in consulting. So that's the story, and we'll get started. I want to start by just identifying and calling out for you all the 3 stages of the consulting journey and help you all identify where you are in that process. We work with a lot of consultants in the nonprofit sector, and over time, we figured out that there really are 3 distinct buckets that they fall into, and each one has sort of a unique situation, unique pain points that they're dealing with. The first one, and I'm assuming that this is several of you, is the dreamer. And if that's you, you're saying, I'm still working full time inside a nonprofit. Maybe I'm an executive director. Maybe I'm a development director. Maybe I'm a manager somewhere in a nonprofit. But I know in my heart that I want to consult. I've seen consultants come into our nonprofit. They're making a lot of money. They're really happy doing what they love. They're not burned out like a lot of people who are inside the nonprofit sector today are feeling the squeeze and feeling really ready for a change. And you see these people and you're wondering, how do I do this? How do I get started? Where do I look for leads? How do I find clients? So if that's you, drop that in the chat. Then we have the jugglers. Catalina was this for a while, balancing a job and a part-time consulting gig. Maybe someone has reached out to you on the side. They have brought you in to help their nonprofit with fundraising, with an event, with volunteer management, with a strategic plan, some grants. So you're doing that, but you're still full-time. You still don't know how to actually exit your full-time job, but you know you really want to go full-time into consulting. You really love the work that you're doing there, and you just don't know what that roadmap is. So your number one pain point is, how do I find enough consulting work to replace my full-time income? And I assume there's a lot of jugglers on this call as well. And finally, we have the builders. Builders are all in on consulting. You have left your job. Maybe you have been laid off and you tried applying for many, many months on Indeed and on LinkedIn and you've had no luck. You've decided, you know what? I've tried consulting. I like it. I'm going to go all in and I need to now build a sustainable and scalable business. And for you, that number one pain point, how do I create consistent, reliable revenue to support me long term? So if anyone is in that bucket, go ahead and drop it in the chat. And we actually have a poll here just to read the room and see who we're talking to today. And I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit of a mix. So let us know. Dreamer, juggler, builder, who are you? Where are you? How can we help you? And I assume, Brian, I just leave this up for a minute and then we'll get some results on that.
Awesome. Just real quick here, Julia. Hope you can hear me. Quick results from the poll. Thanks everybody for diving in. It looks like everybody's answered. 70% of you are builders. Well done. Heck yeah. 13% of you are juggling, and 15% of you are in the dreamer stage, thinking about the day that you enter consulting.
Fantastic. Great. Awesome. So we've got a little bit of everyone, a little more jugglers and builders. Great. So you guys are really in it and really need to figure out how to find clients. Ultimately, oh, here's the poll. Oh, nice. Thank you, Brian. Ultimately, you can skin a cat different ways. The number one pain point everyone in business is going to have, and every consultant on this call is going to have, no matter where you are, how to find clients who are ready to work with you. Not just how to find people who may need help with something, not just how to find nonprofits who have a problem, but how to find clients, nonprofit clients, real organizations who have the money and are ready to hire you. We hear this all the time. With a recent poll of our community, we found that 45% of nonprofit consultants responded finding clients is their number one challenge. So how do we do it? We're going to talk through our simple framework together here. First, I just want to ask you all, because we've done all of these, where have you all found your clients? If you have landed a client, where did you find your last client? And there's lots of methods, lots of strategies, and all of them can work. So I'm not going to knock any of them here. We've tried all of them to different effect. A lot of you getting started are probably operating off of referrals. Maybe some of you have a previous relationship with a company in the sector and you're doing a partnership. I hear mixed reviews from people using job boards and RFPs. We've done sponsorships and ads and things like that to varying degrees of success. So I'm curious where you all are finding clients or what you've tried so far.
Yeah, real quick here. For those of you that are selecting other, it would be amazing if you could let us know in the chat what those other channels are that you're using to find clients. Really, really helpful, especially if you're, have any out of the box or creative methods that we could learn from. Looks like 80% of us here are operating referral based
Yep.
sales pipeline, 20% partnerships, nice healthy percent of LinkedIn, about a quarter of you using
Great.
LinkedIn. Surprising. We have 0 on ads. So Julia will share a bit about ads today. So that's an interesting one. And 0 on sponsorships.
Yep. Yep. No, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, ads. Oh, here's the poll. Great. Yeah. Referrals. Awesome. And LinkedIn. Excellent. We're going to talk about LinkedIn today, partnerships. I really have never met any consultants who have a ton of luck with RFPs. Maybe if you do very specific work, but I rarely hear good things about RFPs. Job boards, interesting, but I think referrals, LinkedIn we'll talk about the most today. That's great. All right, so the big epiphany that Catalina and I had, it was January 2022. We both quit our jobs. We started our consulting business. This is going to be so much fun. We land one client through a referral. We land a second client through a referral. And then we're wondering, what do we do now? We're Googling, where are the job boards with all these consultants, where consultants can find clients. Don't nonprofits need us? Don't they know we're out here? And we're applying repeatedly to dead-end RFPs. We're encountering partnerships where tech companies want to do a partnership with us, but they want us to, sell their tech in order to get access to their clients. We tried running ads, wasted a lot of money on that, and did some sponsorships where we paid a lot of money to get our name in someone's email newsletter. with pretty much nothing. So we came to realize that if we were going to stay in business and we were, really going to do this, we could not rely on others to get us clients. So referrals were great. They got us our first couple, and we started doing the client work, and it was great. We're making money. And then we realized, like, where are our next clients coming from? We can't just keep going back to the same referrals every time and asking them to feed us business. And it's going to dry up eventually. So what we needed, what we realized, was an audience unique to us, one that we could grow at our own pace, people who knew who we were, what we did, and how we could help them. And once we figured this out, we'll show you a little bit our numbers, how they changed. But once we started building our own audience, everything changed for us, completely how we ran our business. Your power is your pipeline. That's what we're going to be talking about today, building a pipeline. And anyone who is a fundraiser, who does annual giving, things like that, the pipeline. Any major givers out there, major gifts people, building the pipeline. It's the same thing, okay? It doesn't change just because you go into business. There is no magic bullet solution to finding clients. There is no job board somewhere where nonprofit clients are growing on trees. You need to, if you're in business, find a way to attract business to you, and building a pipeline is the simplest, most cost-effective way for small shops or solo consultants to attract leads interested in their services. So we're going to talk to you today about extremely cost-effective, simple, and manageable way to begin building a pipeline where you are right now. You don't need more money. All you need is a few hours a week, and you can do this. So there's 3 ingredients to build a successful pipeline. They're super easy. They're simple, I should say, not necessarily easy, but they're simple ingredients to put together as the formula to begin doing this pipeline building. The first thing we're going to need is an ideal client persona, an ICP. More on that in a minute. Then we're going to need a niche or core services. And then we're going to put those in play in a 3-step marketing rhythm. And I'm going to walk through each of these now. So you need to know, as any kind of person in business, who you're talking to. And this applies not just with nonprofits, not just with consulting, but with any business, anywhere, anytime. You need to have an ideal client profile. And so we can use an example. Right now I'm renovating a house, and we're working with different contractors. We're talking to plumbers, kitchen people, things like that. If I'm trying to hire a plumber, he knows that he needs to be speaking to someone who needs a new bathroom in their house. He's not coming into my house and talking to me about putting in a patio on the backyard. He's coming to my house and talking to me about plumbing, right? So that's a simple example. You walk into a restaurant, you're hungry, you want food, and they start trying to sell you pottery or jewelry or clothes. You're confused because you walked in because you were hungry and you wanted food. The restaurant's supposed to be selling you food. So we need to understand who is walking through the door at our business. And even if we have a virtual storefront, we still need to think about it in extremely realistic terms like that. Who is walking through the door? Who do we want to walk through the door? And what problems do we want them to have when they walk through? If we're a restaurant, we want people walking in the door hungry and ready to eat. So an ICP is a thorough understanding of your target audience, especially their pain points and what results they're trying to achieve. They're hungry, they want to have a great meal and feel full, right? So to anyone, and I've talked to a lot of nonprofit consultants in the last 2 years, and the first thing they say to me is, well, I just want to help, nonprofits, anyone who needs help, anyone who wants to work with me, the little ones, anyone who, they don't know how to do this, don't know, that's great. But saying you want to work with the small shops or the medium ones, that's a start, but that is not an ICP. That is not communicating to me or to them that you understand their pain points and what results they're trying to achieve. So if you have a sneaking suspicion on the back of your mind that you have not spent the time figuring out your ICP, this is where you need to go back and start from the basics. And that doesn't matter if you've been in business for 6 months or 6 years. This is something that needs to be straightened out before you can go further, okay? So that's the ICP. That's step 1 of this formula. Just a question for the chat. Let us know if you have a defined ICP that you feel really confident in. What are the parameters for your target audience? So you might help some people out who are struggling with this on the call. Go ahead and drop that in the chat now and give some examples, because I think that'd be very helpful for people who are struggling on this. And Brian, the chat has disappeared for me, so you can monitor that. All right, I'm going to move on to step 2 here. Step 2 is our core services, okay? We need, and I know that there's some controversy around, or just back and forth around, should I have a niche? Should I be a generalist? We're not saying that you can't offer multiple services. I'm not even saying that you have to stick with this niche for life or even for the next year. But again, going back to the restaurant analogy, if someone's coming through the door hungry, your job is to feed them. And you need to have something that you can offer the ICP that makes sense for the pain that they're trying to solve. So you really need to have a core service, especially in the beginning, that you can get really good at. And once you sell one, our first business coach said this to us, if you can sell one, you can sell 1,000. So once you understand one thing that you can sell that solves a problem for your ICP, you can sell 1,000. You can do that over and over and over again. And what we've really learned over the years is that you really need to get great at selling that one thing before you begin and go offering other services. So that's
Yeah.
not to say, and I do want to call out, if someone approaches you and let's say you offer grant writing and someone approaches you for a strategic plan and they want to hire you on the spot and you don't really do that, but you do know how, yes, of course you can take that client. That's fine. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I'm saying that if you do not communicate clearly what you offer and how you help, your message gets diluted, and it's very difficult for nonprofits with a variety of problems to understand how to help you. So
Yeah, that's great. There's a couple of nice comments in the chat, and for anybody
great,
that missed it, your ICP is your ideal client profile or persona. Sarah Spence had shared she serves small to medium size purpose-driven organizations that directly serve communities and implement. An example is implementing organizations. Bethany had shared that her ICP are leaders of state-based, membership-based orgs, specifically in health and human services policy
that's
sector.
great.
Like that's really
That's
focused and
great.
targeted. Love that.
Great. Any others?
Those were the only two.
Okay, great. All right, yeah, guys, take a look at those. Ruminate on that one because it's really important, and a lot of people skip that step.
Oh, Laura had one. Sorry, I missed this. Laura had shared it, more in like a succinct message. And there's a few more coming through actually. She helps small human service organizations identify, secure, and manage grants so they can devote more
Great.
time to serving communities.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so there you've identified a core service, and you even have like a revenue threshold for the nonprofit that helps you focus on who you best serve.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I see
Yeah,
a few
that's
more
great.
chats coming in. Do you have one more you want to share, or are we good?
Yeah, I'm reading these quick. Allison, thanks for submitting. She said her ICP is very similar to Sarah's. Direct service organization, NGOs, social enterprises, and municipalities in the US that need help building or managing partnerships, strategic planning, and fractionally supporting or managing programs.
Beautiful. Great. Awesome. I'm so glad that some of you have figured that out because that's really a huge part of the battle. Once you know that, the rhythms that I'm going to teach next get super, super simple. All right, I'm going to move into those now. So just to reiterate, we want to have a core service, and that's going to solve your ICP's number one problem clearly, directly, and consistently so that it's very easy to communicate when nonprofits come into your orbit. Okay, step 3. The third ingredient here is building momentum with a simple 3-step rhythm. And what I'm going to walk you through is the 3 parts of this, and it's going to be a daily rhythm, a weekly rhythm, and a monthly rhythm. And all this is a repeatable cadence, and we're talking marketing now, for attracting, nurturing, and converting leads into paying clients, okay? Something Catalina and I talk about all the time, revenue generating activities. And we talk a lot with our community of consultants about all of the things that everyone does every week when you're sitting there in your home office. You have no boss, you have no accountability, you have no one managing your time. And when you're doing that and you're sitting there, there's a lot of things that can distract you or feel like productivity that are actually busy work or just not essential, not revenue generating activities. And they make you feel like you're doing stuff, but at the end of the month, the revenue does not reflect all the work that you put in. So I say that because this right here, what I'm about to share with you, is one of the most important revenue generating activities that you can do. Okay. So whenever you're going to go doom scroll on Instagram or TikTok or whatever you use, put it down and do a daily, weekly, or monthly rhythm instead, because that's going to get you clients. All right, daily, super crazy. Talk to people, okay? When we talk to people, we want to reach out to them 1 to 3 people a day or up to 5 people a week. Some people go crazy on this and they say, okay, I'm going to do it. And they go and they reach out to 100 people, everyone in their network tomorrow. And then they're drowning in all of these people responding to them and they can't manage it. And then they get overwhelmed and they stop. So I really, when I say 1 to 3 a week or 1 to 3 a day or 5 a week, just do that. Do something that's consistent, something that we can replicate day over a day. This is all about consistency, all about building the muscle to show up every day in our business. We are what we do every day. We want to be talking to people. A lot of you, most of you are working remotely. It's isolating, it's lonely. You get in your head, you feel like you're the only person out there and you don't know who to talk to. Talk to people every week, every day. What are we saying to them? Okay, so we could be emailing past coworkers, former colleagues, current colleagues, any mentors or professors from school. When Catalina and I got started, Catalina had just completed the nonprofit management program at Columbia. We reached out to a ton of her professors. Many of them were very happy to meet with us, talk to us about what they were seeing in the sector, what the biggest needs were, and we were able to figure out our ICP and our core services based on a lot of those conversations. You can also reach out on LinkedIn. A lot of you are active there. A lot of you have great profiles. Reach out to people, ask about projects, offer resources. Always, always lead with value. Mention what you do naturally when it makes sense. I know a lot of you are like, oh no, I don't want to be that creepy person in the DMs who's trying to sell something. Good, don't do that. Focus on helping, not selling, okay? So there is a natural way to start conversations online. And there is an art to it. It takes some time, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll feel, the better you get at talking to people, and then things will come up. Maybe they've launched a capital campaign. Maybe they are offering a new initiative. Maybe they have lost some funding. That's big this year, and you know how to help them replace that funding. These are things, problems that will come up in these conversations. It might be worth a coffee chat, maybe worth a call. And this is where you are eventually going to find people who are interested in what you do and ready to hire you. So daily outreach, okay? I cannot highlight that enough, especially with so many people I talk to just feel so lonely, which is why I'm happy so many of you are on the call today. Talking in the DMs, don't be afraid also to just connect in the DMs here if any of you are interested in talking to other consultants. That's just so important. All right, daily, check. We know what we're going to do. We're going to talk to people. Weekly, we need to start posting, okay, with purpose. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this, about what Catalina does with posting, because she is like a LinkedIn queen these days, and she does a really great job there. Pick a platform where your ICP hangs out. If you don't know who your ICP is, go back to step 1. This doesn't have to necessarily be LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is very popular. Obviously, it's a professional networking platform, so it's a great one to use if you don't have something more specific in mind. But there are different forums. There could be Slack channels. There could be Facebook groups. It could be Instagram. We have a big community on Instagram with our Relatable Nonprofit Instagram account. A lot of you might be familiar with. We talk to a lot of people there as well. So find a platform. Don't worry about posting on all of them. If you find one you like, you don't need to be on all 17 that are out there. But we do want to start posting regularly, and that means at least once a week. And if once a week is all you ever do, that's fine. I was just talking to a consultant yesterday. She said she started posting once a week back in August. So we're now in halfway through October, and she said that at first she got no engagement. She kept at it. This is what I hear all the time. People quit after the first few posts flop. But little by little by little, as soon as as you keep going, you will begin to find that people are attracted to what you're posting. if you are doing the posting in a way that makes sense. So you're sharing stories, lessons, learnings that are, this is the important part, all tied back to your niche. So everything that you're posting should be addressing your ICP, speaking to them. It should be highlighting their pain points, speaking to those pains, and talking about your stories, your lessons, anecdotes, learnings that highlight how you solve that problem. So we're not posting, hi, you can hire me next week. Here's my price. No, we're sharing value. We're always leading with value. And something really important to highlight here as well is that a lot of people get really hung up on going viral, and it's nonsense. You don't need to go viral on any platform in order to be in business. Maybe it happens once or twice in your career. That's fine, whatever. I think Catalina's had 2 or 3 now that went viral, but it's consistency. It's about showing up even when no one likes your post or comments on your post, because someone actually might DM you and say, hey, I saw that post. So the consultant I was speaking to yesterday said she's been having incredible conversations, even though her weekly post engagement has been low, because people are reaching out to her, she's reaching out to people, and they're seeing the value that she's sharing online. So if you are not, I would consider starting to post somewhere. And it could be a blog too. I know a lot of people are using Substack now. We're not on Substack, but my husband is, and he's an independent writer, and he's found a ton of success posting there. So get creative, but definitely post and with purpose.
Hey Julia, quick question. There was a
Yeah.
question that bubbled up in the chat that could be valuable. Any tips or learnings, especially from what Kat's been doing on LinkedIn about, types of content that works well, that's sticky?
Yeah. So there's a lot of templates you can use, so it would take a while to go through all of them now. I would encourage you to go and literally look at Catalina's LinkedIn, because she has done a deep study of posts that get engagement, and she's looked at a lot of the best, and she's done some online courses on this. So she really knows how to craft a post that does well. Something that we know that works is calling out your ICP in the front. So if you're talking to executive directors, for instance, say, hey, executive directors, and then you would go into what you're going to talk about. So literally naming your ICP in that first line. Long form content on LinkedIn does well. Not I don't know the latest on video and graphics, but I know that long stories with some bullets in there and a clear CTA at the end, a clear lesson at the end, are going to be really important. So definitely not hard pitching on LinkedIn. This is really just about sharing value with your growing audience and showing them that you have authority, that you know what you're talking about, and that you can provide help with their problems.
Yeah, I think the other nudge is LinkedIn will reward you for creating content that keeps people on their platform.
Hmm.
So if you have external links that go somewhere, they're going to deprioritize your content in the algorithm versus, having content that keeps people engaged. Like, Jill just said, carousels do really well because
Yeah.
it keeps people on the platform and engaging on the platform.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have to work with the combined interests of the social media platform that we're using. So obviously, yes, links I don't see doing very well. But there is a whole way to optimize your profile as well. We actually just had a guest speaker in a few weeks ago in our community who talked about this, how to optimize your profile so that you're showing up in search results. There's clickable links in your profile, and it basically, your LinkedIn serves as an online storefront for your business, comparable to having a website and maybe even better. So there's a ton that you can do with LinkedIn, and it's not saturated yet, where some other platforms are a little bit more saturated. So there's a lot of opportunity there, which is why if you're not posting weekly, we're going to start this week. All right, and then monthly. Many of you have worked in marketing and nonprofits, so you know you're not a stranger to building an email list. An email list is an owned list. This is something that if you got deplatformed for whatever reason, or you lost the passwords to your social media accounts, or something hits the fan and you cannot access your social media, you have a list. And that's names, it's addresses, it's email addresses, phone numbers. and you own that list. And so there's really nothing more valuable than that in business, is having a list that you could go out to. So what we want to do here is turn subscribers into fans, super fans, people who love you because you show up consistently with a unique personal value, that they're opting in because they want to hear more from you. They like what you're sharing online. They like the conversation they had with you in the DMs on LinkedIn, where you've met with them for a coffee chat and they want to stay in touch and they want to just stay in your orbit. So this is where you might share additional tools, deeper resources, checklists, templates. You might run a challenge, share some quick wins, insights. And the thing you're going to do with these emails is always offer a next step or action to engage with you further. We're not spamming people. We're not sending them like weird, creepy marketing sales emails all the time, but we're just showing them that we're authentic, we're ethical, we're original, we have value, we solve a specific problem that is near and dear to their hearts, near and dear to yours. And then when they're ready, they're now what you would call a warm audience. They're people that can relate to you, who know what you do and how you can help. And if you're an events person and their next event is coming up, you're now in their orbit, in their network, in their mind, and they say, hey, maybe I'll reach out to that person. Or maybe you send around something saying, hey, I have another spot open for Q4 to take on one last event. And they reach out and they grab that spot. So really what we're talking, and I know any major gift people on here are going to get it, it's this long-term nurture, this moves management, this engagement with people where we're really building relationships and leading with value and how we can help people, which is why it's so important to understand the ICP and the core services, who you're talking to and how you can help them. So there's some real life results here. It's going to be a steady pipeline of leads opting in to learn from you, engage with you, and hire you to solve the problems that you and they care about the most. Catalina and I were just talking before this call because I always say to her, I really wish that we could just get on this call and tell people that there is a hidden chat board somewhere that has all these nonprofits listed that are looking for work right now, and you can just scoop them up and it's work that grows on trees. But that's not business. That's not life. That's not how it works. So the real deal here is consistently showing up, consistently leading with value, consistently posting even when you're not getting results, consistently messaging people even when they don't message back, analyzing what you're doing and getting better and better over time and building an authentic brand for yourself. So this is the best way to do it. And I am now going to show you what happened in our business when we started doing this. If any of you are skeptical right now and saying like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I don't think so. I'm just going to keep Googling and try to find a job board or an RFP or pay for some ads or something. I'm going to show you what we did and why I really do strongly encourage you to try this method. So our story, just a little bit, we're Kat and Julia. A lot of you know Catalina, like I said, from LinkedIn. Check out her profile if you haven't already. We were friends since college. We both went to American University in Washington, D.C. I was Catalina's intern in 2015 probably, and then we stayed in touch after she moved to working at a foundation and I became a development director. During COVID, we both had the classic burnout story that I know a lot of you can relate to. And in 2021, we decided to quit our jobs. And in 22, we launched Devine and Parker Consulting. We're offering, we could talk a lot about what we were offering in the beginning. It was a lot of stuff before we figured out our core service, fundraising, marketing operations for nonprofits. So we got better at that, but that was our original pitch. And these are pictures from, oh my God, almost 2 years ago now. So the framework that I just taught you works. Here's a behind the scenes look at our numbers straight from the archives. And I really was actually excited pulling these for you because looking back, I'd never actually looked at the charts of how well this stuff had performed, but I'm just so happy that we took a bet on this strategy because it has paid off unbelievably. And just a quick snapshot here for anyone that's wondering what it does look like in the business. We each work about 25 hours a week. Our hourly rate is 150 plus, which if you look at any of the studies about nonprofit consulting, that's about the median rate. The business does between 16 and 20K a month. and we've been in business for 4 years. So if anyone is trying to replace their income, you're a juggler, you're a builder. We've been doing this now for almost 4 years, and it's worked incredibly well. So just to give you a snapshot of where you could be. Here is a screenshot that Catalina just sent me a few days ago. When she started doing daily outreach on LinkedIn and weekly posting, this is 1 year of growth. So this is followers, there's subscribers, and there's connections and there's followers. So she did not have many followers when she started out. And you can see now that she has 4,300 followers, 300% increase. And notice down here is really interesting, the top demographics, senior people in nonprofit organizations. So hello ICP, that's exactly who we want to be getting in front of. This is what happens when you post consistently and do your daily opens and your DMs, okay? So that's proof it's a real screenshot. This is our email list. So we started doing email back in 2023, but we weren't really prioritizing it. Once we did, there were a few different things we did. We did some co-marketing webinars with some tech companies where they bring you in, you do a webinar, and they let you keep the list. So you can see the growth, the spiky growth here is probably where we dumped in a big list of subscribers from a webinar. And you can see it wasn't the same kind of growth that you see on Catalina's LinkedIn, but I guess this is monthly. So you can see almost 250 here, a little bit less here, almost 600 in that month, and then a drop. And then when we started doing it more consistently, now you see we get about 250 new subscribers every month because we prioritize this. Our total list, total contacts added to our email marketing program is over 5,000. These are all nonprofit professionals, a bunch of consultants, but also a lot of in-house nonprofit people as well. So it works, it just takes time. But now we have a great list. Open rates are phenomenal. We're talking to a lot of these people, and we've been able to go out to them with different services over the years and had a great result from that. And the third snapshot here I want to show you is revenue. So this is actually pulled from our QuickBooks. What started off here, you can see in the early months as referral income. We took on a client that had been a previous employer for one of us, and then we were scouring the job board, scouring RFPs, things like that, trying to find clients. We were doing about 5,000 or 6,000 a month back in those first couple of months. Different projects we landed here, but it was very spiky growth, and it was hanging out around 10,000 a month. When we started posting, we started having conversations the following year, so it's almost a year later. That's when we started hitting much higher numbers in revenue for the business. So our first 20K month was back in December, and then here we were billing 23,000, and you can see that we're hanging out much higher on that 20,000 mark. And these are monthly numbers. This is cash collected. So I mean, if you're sitting there, you're a dreamer, you're a juggler, you're a builder, wherever you're at, if you're not hitting your revenue goals, like I said, there's no magic bullet. We did not have a lot of income coming in here in the beginning, but once we started building this muscle, this consistency muscle, and actually following through, actually getting clear on our ICP, actually getting clear on the core services, and actually posting and following these rhythms, the revenue followed. So I wanted to share one thing here about our values, because I think that's really important, whether you are in business by yourself or working with a partner. Catalina and I came up with this document, sort of like a mission statement for our nonprofit. That's where both of us obviously come from in our careers, and we wanted to have this for our business as well. So 3 values that have been very important for us and we've stuck with are, first and foremost, a commitment to learning. Lifelong learning. We both had the same mentor when we came out of college, and he taught us to constantly observe and evaluate our efforts and quickly adapt when we've made a mistake. So we never really operate with the sunk cost fallacy of thinking we can't change just because we've been doing something one way for a long time. And that helps us to try new things and not be afraid of change in business, because things change all the time. Strategies change, buyers change, and that's okay. Vision is always paired with execution. So I put in here, dreamers become builders when vision is combined with consistent follow through. That is the theme of this presentation today. And it's the number one thing that you can learn in business is you have to follow through on the vision. Otherwise, you're just going to stay dreaming and you'll never change. And the third thing that we learned, and we've been fortunate enough to have each other, and so we've always had someone to sound off to or use as a sounding board or just talk through on hard days. We've always had each other, but even so, the first 3 years in business were incredibly lonely. Just the two of us on Zoom. We would do these blocked out calls where we'd work like 3 to 6 hours a day together, and we would just each do our work and we would just sit on Zoom. We don't live in the same state, so we see each other like once a year, but it's a lot of working by yourself, working from home, and not having coworkers. It's tough. So we did make it a priority once we had a little bit of money in the bank to invest in community. And we realized that our growth really happened when we worked alongside others who were committed to holding us accountable and supporting us along the way. I'll share a little bit about that. So 2 years ago, I think it was, yeah, when we joined two communities, we bet on ourselves. We actually took some of the money that we had earned from consulting and invested it into two programs. One was a general business cohort. Coaching cohort is a weekly Zoom call with hundreds of other businesses around the country. And the second was a community for female entrepreneurs. The first, it taught us how to finally build the systems to actually run a business. So time management and marketing operations, the finance structure, all the templates and everything we needed to really button things up and become a proper business. And the other one, the Circle for Female Entrepreneurs, it gives a circle of women who are dealing with the same challenges that we were in landing clients, raising revenue, and really staying confident and giving us the permission to believe in ourselves and work consistently through those ups and downs in that period. And we're still a part of both of these programs. And when that changed, when we did that, I mean, our confidence just went through the roof because we realized that we weren't alone. We could do this. And it was really just the most phenomenal thing that we did for our business and for ourselves. But they weren't for nonprofits. So they weren't for nonprofit professionals. They weren't for nonprofit consultants. A lot of the people in these communities really, they knew nonprofits existed, but they really didn't teach things specific to our sector. And we really wanted to find a space for consultants serving mission-driven organizations that understood both sides of the work, the heart that we have for the service, as well as the need to make money and sustain ourselves financially. And something that we just feel is so important, and we tell people in our community all the time is you doing good and serving nonprofits should not mean that you have to be burned out or underpaid for your expertise. And I know so many of you who are still nonprofit side feel that way. And those of you who are jugglers and builders, this is why you're leaving your jobs. So what we did is in 2024, really without a plan, launched the mentorship community that we wished that existed specifically for nonprofit consultants to grow businesses that serve others and themselves. Because where consultants get stuck is they know what to do, they stop doing it, the pipeline dries up. And there's really only one fix, and that's accountability, feedback, community, and consistently doing the things because we are what we do every day. So I just want to share here, and I know we're almost at time, just if anyone is interested, the program that is built for nonprofit consultants by nonprofit consultants, it's the Relatable Nonprofit Mentorship Program, was launched in February of 2024. It is a community of 60 plus nonprofit professionals who are building consulting businesses to serve nonprofits. We have a ton of features, but really what is important is results. So we have on-demand learning, we have community events, one-on-one coaching sessions with me. Anytime, any week that you need help with your business, you can meet with me and we'll talk through your problems and get you unstuck. And you have a community of peers, which I think is most important of all, a community that gets it. It's people nationwide who are working on the same challenges as you to help nonprofits and the causes that they love. So just some results to share from the community. 71% of our members land their first paid client within 60 days. The average value of a project is just over $2,500. And 91% of our members report very high confidence in growing their business. And just 3 frequently asked questions to address up front for you all. There is an investment. Yes, the program does cost money. No, it is not free. We tried doing that for a while. We need to make money too, guys. And we also still have nonprofit clients. So yes, there is a fee involved with that. But people ask a lot of times, how do I know this is worth it? I see, training programs all the time. I see online courses all the time, coaching communities. Is it worth it? I've never invested in myself. Investing in yourself can feel huge, especially when you've spent years pouring your energy into everyone else's mission. I see this repeatedly with nonprofit professionals like you guys and like we were back in 2020. It's an investment, though, that finally pays you back. I know from speaking with our members that most of them cover their tuition within 1 to 2 clients because we teach you in the first few weeks how to package what you do, price it, and sell it confidently. What if this was the last time you had to wonder where your next client was coming from? Catalina and I talk a lot about opportunity costs. It's always important to ask yourself when making a decision if it's right for you. What is the cost of doing nothing? Where will I be in 6 months if I don't make a change? You're all busy. We're going into busy season for everyone. A lot of people say, what if I don't have the time? What if I don't have the time to consult? Well, that's one question, but what if I don't have the time to invest in a community? No one comes in with a perfect runway, and that's actually the point. There is no perfect time. You really just need 3 to 5 hours a week to do the cadence that I just taught you. That would get you really far. And this program, it gives you the structure, the accountability, and a system that makes progress inevitable. So if you wait for things to slow down, I find people who say, oh, I'm waiting for the perfect time to go all in. A lot of those people, they keep circling the same problem 6 months from now and nothing really changes. But if you could, and you feel like you want to take a risk on yourself, maybe use the busy season to build the habits and systems that buy your time back. We're always saying in the community, because I know all of you are perfectionists, progress beats perfection every time, and it really is true. And then the last thing people ask, is what if it doesn't work for me? So every person who's ever taken a risk has wondered the same thing. A lot of you, the jugglers and the builders, especially if you're already out here, um, not working isn't really a choice, right? We kind of have to make this work now. And failure isn't what happens when you try, it's what happens when you keep waiting and nothing changes. So again, this mentorship, and it isn't for everyone. And we don't take a ton of people every month. We just take up to 10 a month because we really want to make sure that you get the one-on-one support that you need. But for those of you who are interested, it gives you the structure, the strategy, and the accountability to land clients and build a consulting business that lasts. I've seen it again and again with people in the group. So you'll have the roadmap, the community, and coaching from me and Catalina and our team. Again, there's no magic solution. There never is, but we feel dearly about this community that it is changing the way that people work in the sector. It's helping you be consistent, show up, and provide real results for the causes that you love, while also protecting your time and charging what you're worth, what you deserve to be paid. So all of that being said, I hope that you all had an amazing time on this call today. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel ready to go out there and start implementing this 3-step marketing rhythm. Anyone can do it. You don't need anything. You don't even need to join this community to do it. You can take what I taught you today and you can run with that, and you'll be incredibly successful. I believe all of you can do it. But if you are looking for a little bit of extra support, you want to spend more time with me, Catalina, and the gang here at Relatable, book a call with Tamara. She is our consultant advisor. She'll talk you through it and see if it's the right fit for you. You can scan the code here. And if you have any other questions, we'll be reaching out on email with follow-up. So connect with us anytime. We really want to make sure that all of you can be successful doing what you love. So with that, Brian, I think I'm almost at time. I was rushing there a little bit.
Amazing. Thanks, everybody. We do have a few extra minutes. If anyone has some final outstanding questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. I know there were a few questions bubbling up in the chat. Yes, we will share the recording, and also very happy to provide the slides as well. I know a number of people were asking. So And lastly, just want to say thank you so much for giving of your time and your energy. We know how busy you all are, especially as we're, depending on, whether you're still at a nonprofit or you are consulting. We are approaching, as we all know, a very busy time of the year. So the fact that you chose to spend an hour with us means the world. We hope that you found something of value and actionable that you can take away here today. And we'll be in touch with more ways that we can help in the weeks and months to come. And as always, please reach out if you want to book a session with our team. We'd love to chat and dive in with you. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. Thanks, Julia.
All right, thank you, everyone. Be well.